Hello everyone and welcome back to DCS and welcome back to the Contention Cold War server, and I'm flying out the Mig-21 here. Now this was a very busy session on a very small concentrated section of the map, so it absolutely turned into Air Quake. But you know what, sometimes you're just in the mood for Air Quake, and so I was fighting right off the field just in a giant furball continuously, and had a huge amount of fun doing it, and so decided to share that with all of you. Now, this particular session I was flying alone. A little bit later someone does turn up, but I've cut this a little bit before then, and so I'll just be doing a docs debrief voiceover to see what I did here, what I could have done better, and give you some ideas of what you should be thinking about when you're in this absolute mess. Let's jump in. So there's no real cut here between taking off and the action, because the action was coming right off the end of the airfield. So you see I'm up in the air, there's already 2 contacts within 12 miles and then a bunch more on the way. This was the small caucus map. We had been pushed back to Kutaisi in the south, and the enemy were up at Senaki, and so we were fighting a very, very narrow short-range battle here. And so almost immediately I get radar contact up ahead. Very nicely, Contention Cold War does now allow hot starts, and one of the big advantages of that is that means you get to take off in the 21 with its radar already warmed up, so you can use the radar right off the bat there. So the first 2 contacts have disappeared, but I do have a Vigan on my nose. Pulled the wrong button there to fire guns instead. Vigan doesn't notice the missile, so he goes straight down. Nice and easy starting kill there, but you can see immediately I am engaged. Trying to get the lock on this second target here. And bypass that guy. Merge neutrally with that Phantom. He fires, but way too late for his missile to actually get track. So doing my best to turn on him, but as you can see there in the top, we've got plenty more on the way. So doing my best to engage, quite happy in a one-on-one duel with an F4. Unfortunately this is very much not a one-on-one duel. So here go a little bit high, trying to get a little bit better position. Unfortunately, while I'm dogfighting this guy, I am bleeding my speed rather severely, and there are plenty of other planes. That is a friendly 19 that just blew past me, so I decided to turn the other way and see I've got multiple things around, trying to get IDs, see a missile, do flare, but it's too little too late. Take a hit there. And that's my engine spooling down. So at this point I am dead, but the enemy don't necessarily know I'm dead. I do try and get some cheeky shots off here, but because the 21 requires engine power to rotate the guns, nothing happens. All I'm doing here is lingering just a little bit, just to add something else into the mix for the enemy to maybe shoot at. Do bail though. Before I go down. Still, 1 kill to 1 death, not a bad start. So start up again, take off again, and once again barely off the airfield and start getting hostile radar contacts. And that quickly resolves itself into multiple contacts. Do always make sure to IFF, and there can see that one of these targets is friendly, the rest are hostile. Trying to make sense of my display to work out which of these off my nose is friendly. At this point I'm pretty sure that one just on the right hand side of the HUD glass is the friendly, meaning that this low target here on my nose is hostile. Unfortunately there, the friendly gets shot down, which does make IDing a little bit easier. Unfortunately now means that there are a load of hostiles off my nose. Do get radar lock here, fire Fox 1, really like Fox 1s on the 21. Unfortunately there, that was a really bad angle. These early Cold War Fox 1s really don't like turning. Then pull onto the guy's tail. Fire off a Fox 2 there, narrowly dodge the Mirage, who's going head on, and at the exact instant my missile connects with him, I get a missile in the rear. Fortunately that's a problem with these very high density areas, is very often you're going to be third-partied, but then you do third-partying and the other half of it, so it all kind of works out. Once again here I'm just drifting, my engine's failed at this point, so I am going down, nothing I can do to stop that. Just going to try and be a bit of a target. Hopefully what I'm trying to do is just lure the enemy to keep their nose on me so they're not engaging a friendly, try and get the enemy to maybe fire an extra missile, run down their ammunition count. And then, once again, restart, right off the runway here, immediately get a lock on a hostile. Not in a good energy state since I just came off the runway. You can see my nose is wobbling about here. Starting to get my airspeed up, but this plane isn't particularly happy at this point. The target I got radar lock on there gets smacked out the sky. So come back out of burners, turn back around. Got a lock on another target once more. This one seems to be more or less coming head on, and this is where the Fox 1s are really, really useful in the Mig-21. A lot of people don't react to the missile lock, and some people, especially on this early rotation, things like Sabres will not have RWR, so will not know that they're being locked. And in this kind of hectic scenario, I think that, if nothing else, locking on a hostile, if that means that his RWR is going crazy, that means that it's likely to give him a bit of distraction while he's fighting friendlies. In this case though, we can see this is a Sabre on my nose, so he has no idea I'm being locked. He can absolutely outturn me, so he is very dangerous. I want him down. I fire one, I can see that's not going to track. Pull as much lead as I can, fire again, and that does just happen to clip him. Now, feeling good about that, I've used two Fox 1s, but that is a Sabre, and really on this early rotation where everybody is using the really bad missiles, the Sabre is probably my most feared opponent, since its disadvantage is really that it only gets AIM-9Bs, but when everyone else gets the same equivalent, then it is just this really manoeuvrable, really hard to get a lock on little aircraft. Do very quickly see that we've got a F5 here on my nose. Do fire, head tracking goes a little bit wonky there. Unfortunately he sees the missile and he tightens up there. So I know that I can't really get a Fox 2 off on him if he's watching. These are the AIM-9B equivalents. They really can't pull G, so if he pulls, the missile's going to miss unless he's really, really out of energy. So at this point I'm just trying to close on him. I'm in full emergency afterburner at this point. No point saving fuel. Just trying to close that distance, get within gun range. I'm in a good position. You can see I am pulling a little bit too high here. Now, he does reverse the turn, which would be a great point for me to get a missile off, but he knows that and fires off some preemptive flares. You can see that I'm coming around on him again, so he fires off some more. Trying to get these guns around. Do finally clip him. Fortunately, Contention is running this mode where the Pipper on the 21 unrealistically does follow the target that it's got, which does throw off my aiming. We'll see in the next run I do turn on the net, which is a really good way of keeping track of where the gun is going to be pointing even when that Pipper's moving around. Still, that's 2 kills so far, so feeling pretty good about that. Guns kill always good and encouraging. And at this point I am letting myself get dragged too far north. The enemy airbase is right over there, and I'm heading straight towards it. And unfortunately I don't know at this point, the enemy air defence is fully active at that airfield. We have been very much on the defensive here, just trying to hold our airfield of Kubaletti and fighting over the nearby FARP 5, which unfortunately means we've not done a lot of damage. I can see, okay, this is a F4 here, coming around on him, think, oh, perfect guns opportunity, pull the trigger, out of guns. Which is really unfortunate. That would have been a good shot. F4s are hard to kill with guns, but that would have done a lot of damage. Still, he is slow, so I'm feeling okay here. I fire off a missile, and here I make a mistake. There's no need for me to be watching whether this missile hits. I do anyway, and that just drags me ever so slightly closer to the airbase. Second mistake I make here is, having seen that I'm right over the enemy airbase, I should have been flaring. I take a hit, I do start flaring a little bit there, unfortunately take a second hit, and that is when my engine begins to spool down. And so unfortunately at this point, engine gone, low speed, I bail, but still that's 3 kills, not too bad. And then once again we are back in the exact same situation. We are just scrambling off the runway. I did announce that I was taking off, but someone turned in anyway, so I just try and get off the ground as quick as possible, turn away from the runway as soon as possible. Do make it clear. I have seen while I was taxiing that there was an F4 directly overhead. You can see on the EWR there is a Sabre in the area. See, now I am using the net on the front just to give me that centre line even if the Pipper is going a little bit wonky. Trying to get eyes on various targets here, get occasional pop-ups on the radar of a hostile. The radar is really the strongest thing in the 21, letting you find the enemy, letting you quickly ID which one's friend, which one's foe. I find it really helps with situational awareness. There I just realised that I have forgotten to arm the gun, which is very embarrassing, so do remember to arm that. Do lose the lock, but do see this is an A10 here. I really should have just started to pull up and do an early high-yo there, because those shots were absolutely never going to hit. Nowhere near enough lead there. I think if I had tried to pull enough lead, I just smacked into them. So go for the high-yo there, temporarily trading off some speed for a better position. Really idle the engine, rolling in, wanting to make my best of the one pass I'm going to get. Get shots in, engine fire, don't count him as dead until his wing comes off, but on the second burst his wing does come off. Not sure if that was the second burst that killed him or if his wing snapped after the first burst. Either way, he is dead. He is no longer making an approach into our airfield, and they have been doing a huge amount of damage while I've been sat on the taxi, so quite happy to clear that attack. It's just about a minute later, just skipping ahead, no need for you to watch a minute of me flying blind. In this case, see multiple radar contacts up ahead, get a lock on a hostile. It's more going to Fox 1. Fire off that Fox 1. A little bit further range than I perhaps should have, gives him enough warning to go evasive. See, he's at F4, he does dodge that. Bit unfortunate there. Since he was not reacting in any way, I probably could have afforded to wait a bit more. But then against F4s, it's always a bit of a hard choice because they also have head-on Fox 1s that they can use, and they can fire them off without you getting RWR before the missile comes off. And so firing early does at least force them to go evasive, so it's all a bit of a trade. So unfortunately here, although I turn back onto him, he is an F4 and he is going flat out. He temporarily comes out of burners but then goes straight back in. I am not going to be able to catch him at this point. See, he's firing on someone. I do give a call out over SRS because he's heading straight for the runway, just to let people at the airfield know that there's a hostile F4 on the way. But you can see at this point I have steady tone on him, but he is out of range here. See multiple up ahead, including friendlies. And unfortunately here, I stall the engine. Problem with trying to chase down F4s in the Mig-21 is it is so easy to overspeed. Unfortunately there, he does hit a 21 coming off the runway while I am trying to restart my engine. I've lost a lot of ground here, what with the whole engine not currently running thing. It does relight. I lose track of him but do see this friendly 21. And so following where the 21's going in, and there he goes, he does get shot down. All nice. So a little bit later, after chasing some things that didn't amount to anything, get called in by the helicopters to give cap over FARP 5, and here run into really quite a situation. GCI there lets me know that there are 3 hostiles in the area, an F5, an A10 and a Sabre. I do just confirm here that this is a Sabre off my nose because I know there are 19s and I might be 15s in the area. Decide just to fire off a hopeful Fox 2 there, if nothing else just to give that A10 something to think about. It doesn't do anything. But I thought may as well just try and even the odds if I at all can. By the way, focusing on the Sabre, once again, the Sabre is the thing I'm most afraid of in this era. So I want to take him out. Really hard to get thermal lock on the Sabre. It has a really small engine signature. Trying to get a radar lock on him. Do there get radar lock, Fox 1 and splash. Now I get call out that the A10 is inbound. I don't realise that they're in the kill feed. I've actually killed that Sabre. Must have taken out the pilot. GCI there does let me know that he is dead, so I do disengage the Sabre. I did lock the Sabre with the beam radar mode, so I have to come back out of that to give myself a bit more situational awareness. And the A10 does get shot down by Frenchie there, which is very useful. Do see the F5 coming in here. The F5 fires. I give a call out as this F5's coming in, and that F5, nicely enough, as he's trying to get guns on, slams into the dirt. So that problem cleared itself up. And so there we go. Do just get an alert there. We've got air superiority by GCI there, so Whiskey Dick doing really good GCI as he's popped in here. Down here to quite limited munition, but do have a target here on my nose that I'm being vectored towards. So it's still just a single Fox 1 that I've got left. See, dot on my nose, it's matching a hostile radar signature. Lock it up. Wait a little bit longer this time. Then Fox 1. And this time the F4 does not evade. He takes a direct hit there. Unfortunately these are F4s, so they're tanky, so I don't know if he's dead or not, so I'm going to engage. That is a friendly on my tail, so I'm not too concerned. But there you go, he slams into the dirt. That makes the third kill. See friendly 21 passing me by. This point I'm out of missiles, guns are low, fuel is getting low, so I decide to RTB, and in this case do actually manage to get down. The server resets a few minutes later. You can see the alert there in the top corner. I did continue after the reset, but just to try and keep this one a little on the shorter side, I decided to cut the video here. Had some luck after the reset, not quite as much as I had before, but still really good fun. And so yeah, this kind of very dense air environment with huge numbers of planes on both sides all packed into an area, it's definitely stressful, it's definitely exhausting, but it can be quite fun. I know a lot of people absolutely hate this so-called Air Quake. Sometimes I enjoy it, sometimes I'm definitely not in the mood for it, and it's definitely annoying if you want to get any kind of ground attack done. But sometimes you do just feel like getting some air-to-air practice, and that's exactly what I got here. Anyway, so I hope you all enjoyed this one, and if you have any suggestions for particular videos, please do let me know, and otherwise hope to catch you in a future video. Until then, remember to be kind to yourselves and everyone else. Cheers.